This is our example of optical art. This is just one of many different optical illusions that play tricks on your eyes or your mind or your brain. You look at the gridded pattern and you look and you see black dots. And you can't pick out where they're at because they keep moving around on the image. But there are no black dots. There are just black squares, gray lines, and white circles. And your eye creates this black dots. This is why they call it optical art. This is the type of optical art that we're going to do in the classroom. We're going to do an op art painting. And what makes this an optical illusion is if you focus your eye here, let's find one. If you focus your eye here, it looks like this is the top of the block, and this is the left side and the right side. If you focus your eye here, it looks like this is the bottom, and the top of your block is here, the left side and the right side are here and here. So depending on whether you focus your eye here, it looks like this is the top, and if you focus your eye here, it makes it look like this is the bottom. So it does a flip. Just like the little black dots moving around, this really doesn't flip, it's staying stationary, but that's how optical illusion is created. We're going to do a grid first. First we're going to start off with a white paper, and you're going to have to do a practice sheet first, because I'll never just give you out the white paper and say, hey, let's just get started. And again, to remind you about the ruler starts here at this mark on the wood, not at the end of the wooden ruler, but the first mark. So when we line this up, we're going to make a mark at every 2 inches. And I'm just going to do a few of them so you don't get bored watching me measure. But the bottom line is we're going to skip ahead and do this really quickly. If you measure at the top, you have to measure at the bottom. If you measure it at the top, you've got to measure at the bottom. You're going to line up and you're going to draw those lines. Your lines should go between those marks. Those marks should be set at the top and the bottom of your ruler. When you can see that line on the top and the bottom of the ruler, I can see my mark there, I can see my mark there, I can see my mark. That's when I'm going to draw a line in between those two marks, and the line should go through those marks. So to make this a little faster, I'm going to hand draw these really quickly. We're going to just do a portion of the paper, and we're going to pretend that I measured off 2-inch blocks over here. Now that we have all these 2-inch squares, all these directions are in the handout. Here's our handout on optical art. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3, Step 4, Step 5. On the back, on the second sheet of the optical art handout, shows you what Step 1 looks like, what Step 2 looks like, what Step 3 looks like, what Step 4 looks like. You do the reading, follow the pictures. So what I have started for you right here is a partial view of those. So after you've gotten all the 2-inch squares, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to use your ruler to draw a line from corner to corner. It's very important they go from corner to corner. You can see some of mine are not hitting exactly corner to corner, but I'm not drawing them with a ruler, and you're not getting bored watching me measure and draw with a ruler. Once they're all done this way, if you do them from the left, you have to do them from the right. So we go and do an X. We draw an X in each one. All of these markings are done really lightly because you're going to be erasing some of those marks. One last set of marks. Down through the center of the X's. You just put an X in each box, and you're going to draw a line with the ruler again through the center of all the X's. It should be straight, not like the line I'm drawing. But again, if I was sitting here with the ruler, drawing all those out, the video would take twice as long and be twice as boring sitting and watching. somebody draw. Now that you have this, you're going to go to the top most corner of your paper and you're going to look for the first diamond. This is the diamond shape. It's a square that's turned on its side. And you're going to erase any other lines that are inside that diamond. There's our next diamond, is right next to it. So we have a row of diamonds next to one another. I'm going to make these really dark. You can see that's why it's important that they go all the way to the corners. And that's why you use the ruler to measure. And that's why it's important to draw the lines really lightly, because you're going to do a lot of erasing. Alright, so once you have those done, this is the partial diamond that's off the side of the paper. So here are my diamonds. So below the diamonds is a shape called a parallelogram. A parallelogram is a rectangle that's slanted on both ends. And we're going to erase those marks that are inside the parallelogram. This is the left side of our box. This is the top. You don't draw all these on here. And this is going to be the right side. So we're going to draw down here. And here's our first complete box. Now you're going to make all the boxes next to one another. So here's the partial box that's going off of the page. So if it was on the page, it would look something like this. But it's not there. It's off the page. So we're going to close that up. We're going to do our erasing on here. It's going to be really easy to erase because we're going to draw real lightly. And this is the right side because this is the left side over here that's off of the page. So it's always left, right, left, right. Here's our next left side. Here's our next right side. Here's our next left side. Here's our next right side. Here's the same parallelogram shape. Parallelogram, parallelogram, all the way across. Now above here is the same shape. Just like this shape here is going off, this shape would be coming up here like this and being part of another parallelogram that's going off of the page. Okay? So if this is, if we change these to, we left this as red, and we changed all the L's from left to black. We're going to make all the L's black. So it's going to be red, then black, then red, then black, then red, then black, then red, then black. So they're going to alternate going up. Here's our first row of diamonds. The next row of diamonds is alternated over, is shifted over one square. It's not this diamond that's directly below, it's shifted over one. So you have to move over, and this is the next diamond and the next row of diamonds, and they will alternate going across the page. So this is my diamond, and this is my next side. This is going to be black, this is red, this is black. So this is black, this is red, then that means this is red, because everything alternates across our design. So it's red, black, red, black, red, black, red, and whatever color you wanted to use. We got that as top, but maybe we're going to make this yellow. Yellow, black, and red are the colors we're going to use. Yellow, yellow, yellow. So that's how it's formed up. And once you get all of this drawn in and all of the lines that you don't need erased, because that yellow paint will not cover up those pencil lines that are on there, or that big pencil in yellow, the yellow paint won't cover all that up. You'll see all that in your painting. So you got to completely erase everything in here. The red paint, the black paint will definitely cover this up. The red paint may not. So you might want to just draw everything really lightly. I'm drawing it dark so you can see it. You might want to draw everything really lightly so that you don't have to do a lot of erasing. If you have a highlighter, you might go over it with a highlighter like this. That might be a quicker, easier way to do it. Any questions, revert back to the diagrams that are on the board. You can look at the video again on YouTube, and you're ready to proceed. You have to show me the sketch that you understand how to do the layout, then I'll give you the 12 by 18 paper. On the 12 by 18 paper, the ruler won't reach from the end of the paper down to the other end of the paper because it's 18 inches. And the ruler is 12 inches long. So you're going to need to find a halfway point in the middle of the paper to make your measuring lines for every 2 inches. And you'll take your ruler from here and draw a line, and then you move the ruler from here to draw a line. So then you make a ruler from here to draw a line, and go from this mark to the mark at the bottom. So you're going to have to measure every 2 inches across the top, every 2 inches across the middle, and every 2 inches across the bottom. And you're going to draw a line from the mark here to the mark here, and from this mark to this mark, and that'll give you a straight line. So everything is 2 inches wide all the way down the paper. You've got to measure at the top, you've got to measure at the bottom. On the board, it says measure at the top and at the bottom of the paper. This is number 1. Number 2 says measure the left and the right side of the paper. Number 3 says middle of the long end of the paper. So in the middle, you have to measure and mark out every 2 inches. Have fun.